I was going to ask why Ella uses black tape on her stick. I think fans are interested in like some of the travel and the behind the scenes and just like, what is it really like for you all? Well, it's not often you get a chance to talk to not one or even two, but three great players from the PWHL. And this week we got to talk to three of the New York Sirens' best players and leaders, Captain Micah Zandee-Hart, as well as Ella Shelton and Jessie Eldridge. And these three are just so much fun to talk to. I tried to come up with some original questions, maybe some behind the scenes that you don't normally hear about. I don't know if they were willing to spill too much on any of their teammates, but we tried to at least get some stories about, you know, what they do on the plane, what they're watching, and their equipment. It was a lot of fun, and I really appreciated talking to these three, so I hope you enjoy it. My first question, I guess, will be, is there a goalie in the league that you don't want to say you have the most trouble, but whenever you face this goalie, you're like, I got to give this a little extra or think about it, or maybe one that you even know their tendencies?
Yeah, I think we play against the best goalies in the world every single day, so I'm pretty sure I could say any name here, but one I think would be Anerne Debian. I think I lived in Montreal for a couple of years, so got to practice with her every day, and she gets to know me and my go-to moves, like reads me like a book. So,
Oh, really?
I think she knows that too. So I think her, but like I said, every game we go into, it's never easy getting past our goalies.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So if you feel like a goalie kind of knows you as well as you know her, do you mix it up on purpose? Or do you like think she's going to think I'm going to mix it up, so I'm going to go to my go-to? Like it's a psychological bit of a battle?
Yeah, I think it's all the mind games of playing with each other a little bit, but no, even talking about Anne, she's one of the best in the world at what she does. So she's good at reading players no matter what. So
Yeah.
constantly trying to figure out how to beat her, but no, that's not going to be easy.
Okay, so let's go a little bit behind the scenes, maybe to some travel and life on the road, if that's okay. This year you all are based out of New Jersey. I'm wondering what that's like. I know it's, nice to have your home practice rink and be, a little more gelled in place. So what has that been like so far? Moving a little bit, but at least knowing that's your home base.
Yeah, I think it's been a game changer for our group, especially like last year. Obviously, we were just kind of all over the place. Not that we were playing in bad facilities or anything. It was a lot of moving around. It was a lot of work for our equipment managers. It was a lot of adjustments. It was, flying out of every different airport possible, that kind of thing. I think now this year, it's like every practice, every workout is at Cody Arena, where we have a great dressing room, great setup here that we love. And then when we play, we're at Prudential Center, and when we fly, we're flying out of Newark Airport. So everything's just a little more familiar, and I think it allows us to think about less and just be able to focus on performing and getting ourselves to be our best when we know where we're going to be and when, and we're not kind of guessing or waiting till the last minute or driving across New York City to get on a flight.
Yeah.
So I think it's been a really nice change for our group.
Yeah, and the consistency, like you say, you kind of know how long it takes you to get to the airport and what to expect. Well, let's stay. Okay, I guess we kind of thought we'd go in a certain order. So Ella's going to be up for this fun question, which I already mentioned. So when you go on the road, I hope you have maybe thought of an answer. I don't want to catch you off guard. But who's the teammate most likely to forget something or be like, wait, or even like leave their bag and start walking or anything like that, just without, calling anybody out, but just, is there a teammate that comes to mind?
Off the top of my head, when I first thought about this, I was like, I don't know. I feel like it kind of like depends on the moment. There's like teammates where I could go, yeah, it could be her or it could be her. I don't know, Jessie, Micah, do you have any other names that I'm thinking of?
If it's yourself, you can call yourself out too. You're like, that would be me. I'm the one that drops things or like, when you hear a phone drop on the airplane,
Yeah.
and like everybody knows that sound. It's like total panic goes through the whole plane. Like, is that my phone? So is it fair to ask then, who's the best sleeper on planes and buses, or who's the worst?
Oh goodness. Why am I blanking on everybody flying and stuff like this? You know what's funny though? Like we always tend to sit beside like the same person.
Oh.
So sometimes I like get on the plane and I don't see where everybody's sitting. So I constantly sit beside Allie Simpson, and she's always got her snacks because she's gluten-free and dairy-free, and she just is always prepared that wise. And she usually is reading some sort of good book. And yeah, I know Gabby, when she gets on the plane, she doesn't tend to like watch TV or like have a book or anything like that. Like sometimes we're always like curious what Gabby's gonna fill her time with. But
Yeah.
recently she said she's been into podcasts.
What do you do on the plane? Are you movie watchers, book readers, dozers? I have to have movies on my iPad, I think.
Yeah. I would say I'm a mix of all. Like, I think most of the time I'm playing some sort of TV show. I'm currently watching the series of called Bad Sisters. Micah recommended it on Apple TV. It's pretty
Okay.
good so far. I mean, going pretty well. And then there's like this solitaire game that I always play at my iPad that I tend to go to a lot as well.
Okay. And then Micah, what's your go-to to
I'm kind of all over the place. Like I love to read, but if I'm not in the reading mood, I'll watch a show. Or I also am a big podcast listener, so I'm usually doing one of those three things. And similar to Ali, I always have snacks, so I'm always snacking, trying to pass
Good.
that way too. But I'm not usually one to sleep. I'm usually doing something.
What about you, Jessie? Any go-tos for planes and buses?
I love to listen to music, so I usually have headphones on the whole time. On my plane, I tend to, if I don't have service or something, I love going through all my photos,
Aw,
doing a little check-in on all that. So, sharing all those and looking around, usually the people I'm beside, and looking at old memories.
that fits you. I might have to do that too. Mine go way back. Yeah, so we got a show recommendation already, so this is good. And movies that have come out. Okay, so maybe let's ask maybe a more proper to get the podcast back on the rails a little bit and just ask about the team this year. You've been doing really well. Every team's had a little bit of ups and downs. The standings are super tight right now. Any one thing either on or off the ice that you can point to that feels really different from your team? Like overall, the league, I think, has, really raised the level of play. But for your team to be different, what's most different?
Yeah, I don't even last year with our living situation, we don't really have anyone that's from or has family or partners or anything from the both markets we've been in. So I think we've kind of used that to our advantage in a way. When we have off days or time, a lot of us spend it with each other. Maybe not necessarily the whole team every time, but in groups and whatnot. So I do think it helps us a ton in building a bit of a relationship piece off the ice, getting to know one another, and it can translate on the ice. So I think that's something that's been really special for me and this to be part of this team for.
That's interesting. Yeah, that I'm sure mentally and physically that's a big difference. What about you, Micah? As far as, I mean, one of the big differences is that you're back 100% for the full season. So we'll save you, the trouble of that answer. But what would you point to as like, the biggest change in the team on or off the ice?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a change from last year per se, but I think one thing I've liked about our team this year is I always think about like it's like a New Zealand All Blacks adage that's like keep a blue head. So it's just like never getting too high or too low and trying to kind of maintain that same level throughout. And I feel like our team's been in games this year where we're up by a few goals or we're down by a few goals, and we've kind of been able to stay the course and stay in the game and not kind of drop off or give up or whatever that might be. So I've kind of liked our ability to respond no matter what situation that we're in.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a great answer. Thank you. And Ella, anything that jumps out for you? I mean, again, we mentioned that you were hurt at the beginning of the year, so having everybody healthy is always a huge factor. But anything special jumps out to you this year for this year's edition of the team?
Yeah, I think definitely having everybody back on the ice is definitely a huge part of our team. Obviously, that's the group that coaches and management had selected and believed in. So I think just getting back with everybody has been really exciting, and knowing that the spot that we're in with how tight the league is, it could go either way. We could, skyrocket from here, or things could take a turn. Who knows? And I think, like, to Micah's point, just that consistency piece is going to be huge for us. And yeah, I like how deep our team is. I think people are willing to step into spots and really own that role, and have a huge impact on the ice. And it's exciting. I mean, we're excited to get to the rink and having a good practice today. I think people are feeling good and excited about a game tomorrow, and just getting right back into it, I think, is what will be good for us.
So I guess my final question, I'm going to ask Ella about why she uses black tape, and maybe there's some other equipment thing that you can, those are just fascinating to me. Like, what radius do you sharpen your skates at? 3/8 myself. Is there anything like that sort of insider knowledge that we can tip folks off? But Ella, why do you use black tape?
I think when I was a kid, my dad used to tell me, like, if it was black tape, they couldn't tell if the puck was on your stick. So then I was like, oh, I'm in stealth mode all the time. So anytime the puck's on my stick, no one can take it from me. And then ever since, I've just always used black tape.
Yeah, that's usually what people say. And then for like the goalie pads, it's the opposite, or it's the white. That's I don't know how, like, everything's happening so fast. But right, the black tape. Does anybody know or want to disclose what radius they use, or if they have a custom rocker or anything weird about their skates?
I personally don't have anything.
Darn it.
Like, I definitely notice when other people make changes on their gear and stuff like that. And I've changed my specs of my stick and my skates quite a bit over my career, trying to find different things that work, but nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing in your skates, nothing. And you all wear the cage, not the bubble. It's pretty easy to pick out the players that wear the fishbowl. So did any of you ever not wear like a cage? Did you have to wear the fishbowl or
I used to wear one in juniors, and that was when I went to college. They said we weren't allowed to wear a fishbowl anymore, but that was my one claim to fame was 1 year of fishbowl.
Yeah. Would you prefer that if you had the choice? I'm sure you're used to the cage now, but
I think I would go back and try it again, but I think I'm just so used to the cage now. I'm good with it.
Yeah. All right. And then last up, and you've had plenty of time to think of this, Jess, so hopefully there's anything weird with your gloves, your pregame routine. I mean, skates I'm fascinated with, but
I think I like to wear pink scrunchie in my hair. That's the only constant thing that I haven't really changed. The rest is pretty basic.
Yeah. And is that's just something you started that you stuck with? Was there any special reason behind that, or just?
Yeah, they're actually, my mom, when she was diagnosed with breast cancer and couldn't come to our game, she made those when she was up in the middle of the night. And so I started putting them in my hair, and now I just have like bags of them she just made so many. So it's just been one of my things that I've always carried with me.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, we see a little bit of pink on some players' tapes and different things, and always kind of feel like there's some reasoning behind that. And that is a great one to wrap up on. And is your mom good and recovered? And okay.
Thank you.
Great. That's great news. Great to hear. We'll definitely, keep anybody fighting that fight in our thoughts. And Hannah, yes, we're done. So thank you all, Micah Zandee-Hart, Ella Shelton, and Jessie Eldridge from the New York Sirens for spending some time with us today. And good luck in the second half of the season. Hopefully we'll see you on down the road in the playoffs and into the Walter Cup.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
again.
you.
So that was a lot of fun, and thank you so much to those three for joining us. We're going to have some more of these kind of mini pod episodes. Hope you can tune in. We always have some surprise guests. So hope you will subscribe, and be sure to hit the like button, because that helps keep the podcast showing up in people's homepage. So more to come as the PWHL season rolls on.